Customize your smart home with endless options with the flick of a button. I've got these all over my house and they're my favorite button for Apple Home. This is also a great time of year to stock up on smart home tech, so should you add Flic 2 buttons to your smart home? Hi, I'm the Brad Lloyd, and on this channel I help you to build a smarter Apple home, from product reviews to tips and tricks. Flic 2 buttons were released in 2019 as an upgrade over their previous Flic 1 buttons. That upgrade brought a significant increase in battery life, it doubled the communication range, and best of all, support for Apple HomeKit was added. And I'm excited to say that Flic has announced that support for Matter is coming in 2023. You may have also heard of Flic Twist, which can do all that Flic 2 can do, but it can also be rotated to adjust things like dimming lights, adjusting speaker volume, or opening and closing shades. It definitely looks really cool, and while it doesn't support Apple HomeKit right now, since Matter support will be added soon, I'm excited to eventually test this out. I'll have links in the description for both Flic 2 buttons and Flic Twist, and where applicable, I'll include current promotions so you know you're getting the best deals. So let's talk more about these Flic buttons and what makes them so special. Automations are so important to a well-built smart home. Set them and forget them. It's amazing. Automations don't always make sense though, and that's where Flic buttons come in super handy. As an example, I don't always have the most consistent bedtime, so if my lights are automated to always turn off at 11 p.m., well, that's not always gonna work for me. Using Siri to control my smart home is convenient, but in some cases, I prefer to have quick and easy access to press a button to control a scene or set in action. I don't always want to use my voice, especially in the late evening or early morning when others in the house may be sleeping. Also, as I've built out my smart home, it's no surprise that I've accumulated a mountain of smart home accessories. Siri doesn't always understand all of my room names and device names, so it can be a little bit tricky. Add friends and family into the mix and it's just not always gonna work. The less I need to rely on Siri through automations and physical controls, the better. I love the look and feel of Flic buttons. They're super light and about as wide as a toonie and as tall as about 5 loonies. That's just my 2 cents, but here in Canada, well, we'd have to round that up to a nickel because, well, we don't have pennies anymore. Enough about Canadian money though. These are the smallest buttons that work with Apple Home, at least that I'm aware of. Here's a side-by-side with the Aqara wireless mini switch. You can see that Flic 2 is so much smaller and they're so easy to press. I really like the clicky feedback. Like most smart buttons, you get 3 actions: a single press, double press, and a long press. Because they're small size, they don't stand out much, and if a friend does notice them, well, they're a great conversation starter, and others will definitely be intrigued when you show them all they can do. They come with an adhesive that will stick to most materials with ease, and Flic claims that not only are these buttons removable, but the adhesive is actually reusable simply by rinsing it underwater. This is nice to know, though I would still be careful as I expect there is potential to damage a surface if the adhesive doesn't come off cleanly. Flic 2 is powered by a CR2032 coin cell battery which can last up to 2 years. Based on my experience, I've probably gotten closer to 12 to 18 months from my previous Flic buttons, but of course that depends on how often you use them. The battery is easy to replace with a simple twist, and luckily CR2032 batteries are relatively inexpensive. These buttons come in white and now black. I know the black buttons were quite popular in the past, so it's exciting to see that they're back. Now, it's not clear if they're here for good or if this is a limited time thing, so if you're digging that black color, then you may want to stock up while you can. The optional stickers make these even more useful, like these glow-in-the-dark ones so you can find your Flic even in a dark room. The glow-in-the-dark stickers come included with a bundle purchase, and there's also some standard non-glow-in-the-dark stickers that can be purchased for an additional fee. I love these and I wish there were even more options. There are some blank stickers so you can create your own, like this holiday Flic that my daughter made. She did end up having to redo this because originally the marker smudged when I put the sticker on, so just make sure you're using the right kind of markers. Now, a downside to these Flic buttons is that you do need the Flic hub, especially if you plan to use them in Apple Home, which is essential for me. Otherwise, you could technically use your phone as a hub, but there's some significant drawbacks, like decreased range, and the buttons will only work if you're at home with your phone, so that could be quite annoying for people in your household trying to use the buttons while you're out and about. The hub is small and connects to either 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi or Ethernet. I've tested both Wi-Fi and Ethernet and experienced no issues at all. The micro USB cord that comes with the hub is a little on the short side though, so if you need something longer, then you'll want to switch that out. There's also a port on the hub that connects to an infrared transmitter, so you can control your IR devices as well. The IR accessory is sold on the Flic website for $20. These buttons communicate using Bluetooth 5.0. Yes, I said Bluetooth. It's not often that you will hear me recommend a product that uses Bluetooth. In theory, if these had Thread, that would be ideal, but I can't argue with how well these buttons have worked. I've been using them daily for nearly 2 years and they've been fast and responsive. Yes, there are occasional delays, but not more than a couple of seconds. And they're no slower in my opinion than any of my Zigbee 3.0 Aqara buttons. In terms of range, FLIC says 200 meters with line of sight and about 15 meters on average indoors. I have an average size home with about 3,500 square feet of living space, and I haven't noticed any issues. If you have a large house, you can always add a second hub. Since they connect via Wi-Fi, they're easy to put almost anywhere. I want to thank FLIC for sending me the starter kit and the FLIC Hub LR, as well as these black and white buttons for my review. Since I already had FLIC in my home, I've installed the new hub in my basement, so now I should be able to expect even faster response time from my basement FLIC buttons. Installation is so easy, it's hardly worth even talking about. You will need the FLIC app, which will recognize your hub automatically and basically just set itself up for you. To pair a button, just go into your hub and then click Add a FLIC, then press and hold the FLIC button for 10 seconds. Once paired, you can set up using one of the many available integrations, or just use in HomeKit, which is what I'm doing as an Apple Home user. Then you can just program your scenes and actions in the Home app like you would any other HomeKit button. This really is the best use for these buttons in my experience. I recommend keeping everything in Apple Home, but as you can see, there really are a lot of available integrations. And you can even use multiple for each command, like controlling LifeX bulbs, Wemo switches, and even play some music via Sonos with one click. But this is also stuff that you could mostly do in the Home app as well. I encourage you to play around and explore with some of the available options. There's some simple integrations like using your phone's camera so you can use your FLIC button as a capture button, so have fun and, like I said, explore. These small little buttons make a great addition to the smart home, and they also can make for a really cool gift. When I started building up my smart home, I would often ask for smart home accessories when asked for Christmas gift ideas. I'll have affiliate links in the description. You can pre-order Flic Twist, which also comes with a Flic 2 button, and it will be shipping in early 2023. You can buy a single FLIC button for $30 or $35 for black, or save big on their multi-packs. They offer a 3-button pack, a 6-button pack, and starter packs which include the hub and up to 15 buttons, and come with some pretty amazing discounts right now as well, which I'll include in the description. Finally, here's some of the places where I use FLIC. I've got various Apple Music playlists that play to my OG HomePods. The holiday button my daughter created plays a couple of holiday playlists and can also set a holiday scene. Each family member has a FLIC button to control lights from their bedside table. This is also a great use for those glow-in-the-dark stickers. I have a FLIC button to control my gas fireplace, one at the top of my basement stairs that will turn off all of my basement lights with a single press. I have a FLIC button by my front entrance to turn off all my lights and fans before we leave home, including a click to lock the doors, so I can press it as I'm leaving and then quickly shut the door behind me so the door locks. I use FLIC to control my bathroom exhaust fan. I have some to control my shades, and others that I use to set some of my favorite lighting scenes. If you value physical controls as much as I do, then I recommend giving FLIC a try. They bring good value and they work well. Let me know how you use buttons in your smart home so we can all learn from each other. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.